welcome everybody to our Wednesday webinar entitled, as you would have seen, Adobe Express Classrooms. So for those who've been seeing that little button that's been sitting over on the left-hand side of the navigation bar for the last 8 months and going, oh, when's it coming? When's it coming? Oh, it's not here yet. Oh, when's it coming? When is it coming? Oh, it's not here. It's here. Yay. It's finally here. Not in all jurisdictions. There are a couple of jurisdictions across Australia who haven't quite launched it yet, but it will be there very soon and you will see the functionality. So what we're going to go through today is some of that functionality, have an opportunity to answer some of your questions. But before we get started, we'll do our traditional.
Thank you for joining this weekly webinar series from the ANZ Adobe Education Team. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we gather and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We honour the wisdom, knowledge and artistic expressions that Indigenous communities have shared with the world. Their contributions to the arts and education continue to inspire and enrich our lives. Through creativity and education, we strive to build a future where all voices are heard and celebrated. Whether you're just getting started or looking to deepen your skills, these sessions aim to provide hands-on tips, classroom examples, and expert insights to help teachers make the most of Adobe's powerful creativity tools. Now it's over to the Adobe Education Team.
Thanks, Dr. Tim Kitchen, who's currently on holidays in the far north of Australia, and definitely not at all working on this particular day. We've had a couple of people in the chat going in and letting us know where they're joining from. So Molly's in Carrigal land, James joining from Gayamagal land. I am coming to you from Wurrung land, or the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Eastern Kulin Nation. It's where I live and work, also known as Naarm, down in Melbourne. If you haven't seen this before, it's an absolutely wonderful map created by an Australian designer named Dave Foster, and you can go to fostertype.com/portfolio and actually see this in all of its magnificence. And it looks at all the countries based on their originally established boundaries. So yeah, absolutely fantastic little bit of tech. I won't get on to the next Wednesday webinar because we can focus on the next Wednesday webinar at the end of the session. What I'd like to do with you today is actually go through Classrooms, how it works and how you can go in and access. And really just to go in and show you how very simple it is to go in and set it up. I'd also then like to go in and show you a couple of new things that have just come into Adobe Express. And again, we will have plenty of time for questions. I don't think this will take the full 45 minutes because it is a pretty straightforward process. But for those who haven't gone in and had the pleasure of trying to deal with Classrooms before, you will notice that it sits over there on the left-hand side of your screen. And when you click on Classrooms, you will see that you literally get directed to a screen now that doesn't go in and say coming soon. It says create class, and it gives you assigned guided activities to your classes. So we will get to that in just a minute. But before we do, what I'd like to show you is a way that you can go in and access some stuff. And I will go in and play a very quick video that goes in and outlines this process for you. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the Teach tab. So if you're listed as a teacher, under Teach, you'll see that inside of the Teach window now, you can actually go in and do your own Adobe Creative Educator, so that ACE Level 1 badge directly through Express. I would imagine that most of you in the room have probably already got that because our community, most of the people tend to have got the ACE. But if you want to encourage your fellow academics to go in and do it, it's literally a 30-minute course. And if you're a super clever egg, you can even go in and do the quiz by clicking through all the videos, getting to the very end of it and answering the questions. Go in and get your badge. So if you already know how to do it, you can go in and do it here. The reason that I'm suggesting that we're going through this one today is that there is a little 3-minute video in there that specifically talks about Classrooms. So we'll use that as the sort of the preempt to today's conversation. And then I'll go in and actually show you through the process itself. So if I click on that link, you'll see we've got 5 or 6 little videos there. This is the one we want to be looking at, the Engage with Galleries and Classrooms. So I'm going to play that and I'll make it full screen and we'll click on play for 30 seconds. So I will be back in 30 seconds.
Students and teachers asked for this feature and we delivered. We have created classrooms to help facilitate collaboration so the invisible elements of student creation become visible. With classrooms, you can assign projects, view student progress in real time, and empower collaboration. I'm excited for you to explore these features. Remember to pause the videos and practice on a separate screen as you go.
First, make sure you're logged in with your school ID and that you're using a teacher account. Next, from the home screen in Express, click on the classroom icon on the left. Click the Create Class button to create your personalized classroom. Fill in the name, the subject, and the grade level. Enter a co-teacher's email to help manage assignments and view student work. Then click Save. In the class where you want to invite students, click Add Students. This will generate a class code and a link. Click Copy Class Link and share the link with your students using an email, LMS share method, or whatever works best for your classroom. You can also have students type in the URL and put in the unique class code themselves. All of these join methods lead students to this page where they can join your class. There are two ways to assign activities. The first way is to go to a template or guided activity, then press Assign in the top right. The second way to assign activities is from inside the classroom, using the Create Assignment button. In either case, you'll see the same menu. Fill in the assignment title and select the class you'd like to assign the project to. Then you can select up to 5 projects or activities that generate blank templates for your students to start from. Your Stuff will open a personalized activity for your students to use, pulling directly from the activities that you have saved to your account. Toggle on Class Gallery to allow your students to see one another's work once it's turned in. After you click Assign, this assignment is now live in your class, and students can access it either directly from the link that you've shared or by opening the class in their classroom space. You'll be able to see your students working in real time, whether the project has been turned in, is in progress, or if you've returned it to them for further editing. And once students have turned in their assignments, you and your students can look at the class gallery to be able to see one another's final work.
Classrooms are designed to help you track each student's progress. This allows you to see where each student is excelling and where they might need extra support, helping ensure everyone's success. You and your students can leave comments, give suggestions, and feedback that enhances collaboration inside and outside of the classroom.
In your class, you can see if students have turned in their work for any given assignment. To comment on a student's work, simply click on their activity, then comment in the text box on the right-hand side. You can return their work to them to make adjustments based on your feedback, or you can simply provide a comment with their final grade. A student will click on the notification, see the comment on their work, and be able to improve and respond based on your feedback. You can click the Students tab in the top right corner to easily navigate between each student and view their work quickly.
Okay, so that's the basic overview. What we'll go through now is a little bit of a process going in and showing you how it works, how you can actually go in and set it up yourself. So yeah, Donna, at the moment, Queensland Department and New South Wales Department of Education are yet to turn it on. They're just going in and doing some final explorations as to, just doing due diligence around safety, security before they go in and turn it on. So that will be a hashtag coming soon for you. But hashtag hopefully really coming soon and not just it's going to sit there for 6 months tempting you. Okay, so if I go back to my homepage, this is my education homepage. Obviously under the Teach tab, I can go in and you can see there I can go in and create assignments. I can go in and showcase student work with galleries. So the gallery feature was something that was shown. If any of you have used something like Padlet before, it's very much like a built-in Padlet functionality inside of Adobe Express, which again is a really fantastic way to share content with students, particularly if it's just a sort of a formative task or it's something where you're just going in and wanting to get them to create quickly and go in and share and give feedback. It's a really lovely sort of low impact way of going in and getting them to have that ability to go in and share. You can create an assignment directly through that button. You can even go in and take a look at some existing curated classroom activities. Because this is a North American website, or Adobe, the North American company, you will see it is called Math and Not Maths, but we know what they mean. But you've also got these other language arts, social science, social studies and science as categories. So you can check through them as a starting point. As you might have seen in the video, it talks about the fact that when you're going in and creating assignment, if you go in through the add page here, so if we go through the project types, it will create a blank document for students. So I would be recommending, if you're going in, particularly if you're in K-12, and particularly I would say if you're in K-6 or in the lower end of the 7 to 12 space, you probably want to give them a little bit more of a guide than just a blank document, in which case I think it's always going to be worth going in and creating your own template or your own file as a starting point for your students. So up until now, when you've gone in and shared files with students, you've probably gone through a process similar to this, where you've gone in and you've created a document, you've saved it into your stuff, and you've then gone in and you've gone through your share option. So here's one I prepared earlier. You've gone in here and you've either made it a template, or you've gone in under share, you've gone to a view only link, and you've clicked on allow others to remix, and you've then gone in and shared that out with students. You don't need to do that process now. So you can basically, you'll notice you've got the tab that sits at the top here, sign. So if I click on assign, it's automatically going to go in and make it an assessment. I can choose a class. I can choose whether I want the gallery on or not. I can go in and save a draft if I know I want to go in and fix that, or I can just go in and create link. I'm not going to do this right now because what I actually want to do is go from the start, which is how to go in and set up the classroom. So setting up a classroom, you will literally go to the classroom tab where you've got the little dotted outline there that says create class. You'll click on that, give it a name. You'll notice it's asterisked, so that means you've got to fill that in. So I'm going to go in and got one that says Wednesday webinar. So I'll just call this, I'll just, as an example, I'll call this Adobe Classroom example. You pick a subject, and again, you can choose anything that you want. It doesn't really matter. It's just going in and giving it. So if you've got multiple classes, this will go in and help you determine what's going on. Grade, K through 12. You can go in and set obviously anything you want. If you want to have more granular detail, so maybe you're teaching the same class to multiple students in high school where you've got a Wednesday morning session, period 1, and you've got a Thursday afternoon session, period 4, you can go in and you can differentiate really easily that way. When you click on save, it's going to literally go in and give you a prompt that gives you that code. And that is what you would be going in and sharing. You can go in and create it as QR code. You can go in and view it full screen. If you copy that link out, I'll show you what it looks like. So if I go in and paste it into a new browser window, you'll see it's just express.adobe.com/classrooms/join. And then it's just that, in this case, it was MMHQ F5 for the code. When you share that with students will be able to go in and join that. You can also go in and add students at any time directly through here. Again, copy that invitation out and get students to go in and add that content in. I'm going to jump back in to, here's one I created earlier, just because I know that we've got Molly in there as a student. So if I go to the Manage Class tab, we'll see we've actually got, well, no, we don't. We've actually only got me, and that's okay too. So under the Manage Class, I can go in and see that the role, I can see whether I'm being active or not. I can add people here. And again, this is where you'll just get that link. So you've got multiple places you can go in and add, essentially. I don't have a necessarily sort of preferred method that I would be going in and sharing at this stage. I think probably going in and doing the code and just sharing that with the students, whether that be through Compass or your LMS or whatever it is that you're going in and using as a general way to go in and share stuff with your students. Go in and paste that link in. They can click on the link and they'll automatically get access into that classroom space. Miles, are you okay if I go in and share that link with you just through our chat and you go in and log in?
Absolutely.
Thanks, mate. So Molly in the back end is using one of our student accounts and I'm using one of our teacher K-12 accounts. And so hopefully we'll be able to go in and see Molly popping up in there in a second. But you can see inside of that, you've got two main screens. One is for assignments and one is for galleries. So when you create an assignment, this is what we saw before in the video. You've got to give it a title. You've got 150 characters, so keep it short and sweet. The instructions, you'll see you've got 10,000 characters. So that's quite a lot. Can you go in and add multiple students at once? At the moment, you can import rosters only from Google Classroom. So if you don't have Google Classroom set up, no at this stage, but that is something that is coming soon in terms of functionality. One of the key requests that's been put through by North American educators is to be able to go in and import CSV files and things like that. So just Excel spreadsheets. So I would imagine that will be something that will be coming sooner rather than later. But yes, at this stage, the invitation link is probably the most straightforward way, but ideally, yeah, you'll be able to go in and have that syncing in so that you can go in and import the roster very easily. So back into that assignment, as I said, 10,000 characters for instructions, so you can be as detailed as you need to in there. You give it a due date, you choose the class that you want it to be assigned to, and you go in and turn on or off that gallery feature. You can go in and also add additional attachments. So you might have instructions. That might be a PDF or it might be a Word document. It might be some additional resources and things that you want your students to be going in and using during the process. And then you go in and add in your template. So if I go to choose project types, that's where, as we saw before in the video, I can choose up to 5 project types and it will bring in blank templates for students. But if I go in and use something that I've already created, I'll go to that Your Stuff. We'll go to that file that we saw before. I'm going to click on Upload. And you'll see now I've got that blue Assign button, which is what I had before when I was in the file. I saw in the top right-hand corner I had that blue Assign button. So when I click on that, oh, I better give it a title. Firefly brainstorming. And I'm going to go in and say it's the Wednesday webinar grade 7 class. I'm going to assign it. And we'll see that will now pop up in a second. Any second now. In 3, 2, 1. I can even go in and then share that assignment link. So I can go in and share that out the same way that I would share the other links. Or students will actually be able to go in and see it directly inside of. And you can see there's Molly now, student K12-3. We know that it's Molly, but that's the name of the account. So it would normally say Molly or whatever the name registered associated with that student account would be. So Molly's sitting there. We know that she hasn't started it because we can see our little guide up here. It's blue if it's been turned in. It's purple if it's in progress. It's green if it's been returned. And it's red if it's not been started. So that activity's in there. And if I went in and added all those sorts of instructions and said, hey, Molly's, go in and add in whatever you need. And you can see Molly's gone in and put a screenshot in there. It goes in and shows what it looks like on her screen, which is this. She sees this. Click on the blue button to start the assignment. And she can then actually go in and start work.
Oh, and we've lost him. Let me just take over and I can show you the student experience as well, just so you get it. And what I didn't take a screenshot of before, I'm sure that Al will jump back momentarily. if I am a student, so I clicked on that link and it was really quite easy as well for, it populated the code. So I know that sometimes we worry about our little ones and their sort of tech capabilities, but that link went straight through and I just clicked join class. So they don't have to type in anything. So, you don't have 25 5-year-olds or 7-year-olds having to kind of do that for you. So that was a really easy process. And then it features in my classrooms, and I just thought I'd fill the air while you came back. But you can see I've started my assignment now, and I can continue on that, and I'll do some work in the background while you take back lead. Al?
Thanks, Miles. Apologies, everyone. I hit the unshare screen button and actually left the meeting. So we all make mistakes. What you would have noticed on Molly's screen there, where for me it said assign, for Molly it says turn in, and so that's the process for the students to go in and submit it. So again, before classrooms, we were having to go through processes where students were going in and downloading a file, choosing the file format, all of those sorts of things, then going in and uploading that or sharing the link with the educator. Now it's just as simple as staying inside of that screen, clicking on turn in. You'll see here that it's now for me. Hopefully, if you can go in, and I'll go in and share my screen. You can see Molly is now, we know that she's opened that, so we can see that it's in progress. If I click on that, I can't actually go in and edit the file, but I can go in and add comments there. I can go in and say, Molly, why haven't you changed the picture yet? What are you doing? Get it together. I wouldn't say that. There we go. So now the picture's changing, and I can go in and say, yep, this is looking great. Molly? And I can even then go in and pin my comments. So I could go in and place a pin, and then in the same way that you would with potentially a PDF, go in and make comments about specific components. So if I know that I want to go and get the student to go in and adjust the text or the content of the text or change the image or whatever it is, I've got that ability to go in and assess that. And you can see there over on the right, you can go in and resolve those comments. So if you've gone in and changed it and you're happy with it, you can click on that and it'll move into a resolved folder. From a teacher view too, you can see here, I can actually go in and just use my navigation there to go to previous file and next file. We've got one student in the class, so can't navigate away from that one file. But if we had multiple, it means that if you're going in and getting the students working on an activity while you're actually in the classroom, you can go in and see them all without having to worry about share screen features, without anything like that. You can actually go in and actively work with the students. I think it's actually a really wonderful thing because it's not involving a second system where you have to be going in and submitting a progress. You can go in and you can make those adjustments. Molly, can't wait to be a teacher in the future. Good for you, Molly. Good for you. We can go back at any stage and you'll see, again, there's another one in there now. So we've got, is that James I see? Okay, we've got 2 students working on this file. So this is where I could, again, going into that file, go to previous file and next file. And so I can now go in and see what James is doing. Robots are all right. Or I could go in and I can check out what Molly's doing. And again, this just gives me that ability to see over here all of this additional navigation there. I can see that they're both working in progress. I can see if anyone's turned it in. I'm seeing if they've not started. And so again, it gives me a little bit more granular control over what's going on in a classroom, where I can sort of nudge a few students if they're taking a little while to get started, or if they're struggling with that ideation phase. I can potentially go in and give them some suggestions in the comments. Have you considered this sort of a prompt if you're going in and using Firefly, or have you considered adding this sort of a text, or whatever it happens to be, to go in and just sort of nudge them along in that learning journey. So that's the sort of functionality inside of it. You can see there, as soon as they go in and turn it in, that color will change from in progress to turned in. If I go outside of that particular assignment, you can see it's been assigned. You can see, because it's got the green line there, if it's a draft one, so I can set all of these up ahead of time. not necessarily publish them until I want the students to be able to go in and see them, because as soon as you go in and assign it, the students will have access to all of it. So if you're doing like a step-by-step guide, you're doing introductory activities that then get built on future weeks, I would recommend keeping the secondary, tertiary ones in draft until you're ready for the students to be able to go in and see them. Does that sort of make sense? So hopefully that makes sense. And then again, you'll go in and see that we'll have galleries in there. So we can go in, and if I click on this assignment now, we'll see that both those students have gone in and turned it in. If I click on View Gallery, it's not obviously going to fill it with 45 things because we don't have 45 things, but we do have the 2. And so we've got James's robots are all right with a cloud and a fantastic robot. And I can go in here and add a caption there, or James could go in and add in the caption, and this is what's going to be visible inside of that gallery. And I can then click onto the next one where I'll go in and see Molly's, who can't wait to be a teacher in the future. And it's literally that simple, guys. You can go in and you can see exactly what's going on. You can see how students are going. It's all there. It's all very valid. It's all very reasonable. It's all very straightforward. Are there any questions in the chat?
While people are doing that, and just because you just showed the gallery, I got my teacher hat on, and I want to sort of just do a call out for everyone. So when Al set up the assignment, he allowed for a gallery, which is great because a lot of the time in classwork, and if you've used Padlet, it's such an amazing way to showcase student work. And we know how valuable that is, like that peer-to-peer learning, and to be reflecting on peers' work. And you can put comments in there. They're attributed, so we know what students put anything in to combat any nastiness and all that kind of stuff. But really be really mindful that if you're setting up an assignment that is like a private assignment, it's not going to a gallery space, it's an assessment that they're getting graded on, for example, make sure that you've got galleries turned off. Because we don't want then obviously, to be sharing that work, but sometimes we do want to share and celebrate student work.
Very good point, Molly. Thank you so much. David said, may have missed it, but while they're working, feedback happens in real time. Yes, if you want to be giving them feedback in real time, you can be going in and doing that. And again, that's just a case of clicking inside of here, inside of their actual student work. What you'll also notice when it loads in is that you can go in and download it in any sort of format that you want. You've got the ability to go in and make comments, all sorts of wonderful bits and pieces. And then again, with that gallery, so to go back to what Molly was saying before, if I go back into my classroom and I go to my Wednesday webinar and I create an assignment, that's the toggle for the gallery. So if I don't want to have that gallery, I just turn it off there. Does that make sense? And then the same thing for a gallery. I can go in and create galleries very easily. I'll just get my little spinny wheel. And as soon as that comes in, you'll see I can actually go in and create that as just an artifact that I can add all sorts of bits and pieces. I can be a little bit of a play space. Are there any questions about what we've sort of gone through? I know that that's half an hour of me chatting at you, but that is Wednesday webinar. That is Adobe Classrooms in a nutshell. In terms of the provisioning, that's something where we can certainly go in and give some support, and we've got some back-end resources that I'll go in and share into the chat here, including things like our newsletter where we've got some more details about that. Is there a limit to how many assignments can be assigned to a class at one time? At this stage, I don't think so. I'd have to go in and get back to you, but we haven't had any issues or any reports about limitations. I think because it's been quite widely used over the last sort of 8 months or so over in America, they have nutted out a lot of those issues. I would go in and probably make sure that you go in and check any of those things first. There is always going to be online support and guidance there if you require it. James, great idea that for any schools with a TV in the front of the house, for the community, go in and have those galleries running. It's a fantastic way to go in and share the work that students are creating as they're creating it. I just think as a tool, it's just so nice to be able to have it all in-house, where it means you don't have to be going in and using one tool to create, one tool to go in and assess, one tool to go in and demonstrate, one school to go in and collaborate and share. It's literally all in one as a single sort of entity. And again, it's really easy when you're going in and you're setting up that classroom to go in and also add. We go to my Wednesday webinar one. I can go in and I can manage co-teachers. So I can go in and add additional teachers in there. So if I know that I want to have a couple of other people going in and sharing it, if I'm in high school and I've got, I'm managing 4 teachers going in and teaching a history unit, you can go in and very easily collaborate and share that content with other people. In the same way, if you want to get rid of the work at any stage, you can go in and delete. Red buttons tend to be a little bit nuclear in Express, so I'd be very careful about going in and hitting that delete if you know that you do want to keep that content at some stage. Always a good idea to be going in and downloading things before you go in and delete that stuff, because as you see there, it will not only delete all of the classroom data, but it will revoke access for those students, so the students won't see that anymore inside of their classroom setup. So just be a little bit mindful of that stuff. That may be something that at the end of the year, you're looking at copying out assignments and things like that to then go in and re-upload when you're creating a new assignment, rather than just deleting and salting the earth and getting rid of it for all time. You can see there too, you can also go in and do things like assign guided activities to your classes. So there are some really nice little introductory ones, things like a portrait masterpiece, which is the sort of thing that we looked at. If you go in and click on that, you'll see you can go in and do a quick assign inside of there now. So if I click on that, it will quick assign. It's automatically going to go in and bring up what we need. It'll give it the title and the instructions as per the normal. We can go in and assign what class we want it to be in. So in this case, this was the Wednesday webinar. I can go in and make it a gallery. And as soon as I click on assign, that's going to be going in and coming in. And because that's a guided activity, for those who've been to previous Wednesday webinars, you would know that a guided activity actually has a little guide sitting down on the right-hand side of your screen. So that's probably the left-hand side if you're on the right-hand side of your screen. You will go in and see a step-by-step instruction guide that will include things like videos, as well as written instruction on how to go in and complete any of that component. And again, we can go in and see there that neither Molly or James have started on this particular creating a portrait masterpiece. So again, not angry, just disappointed, and that's absolutely fine. But we can now go back in. If I go into that classroom and I go to the Wednesday webinar, you'll see both of those are sitting there now. So they're both published. So it's really easy. You can use existing stuff if you need to, or you can just bring your own content across. Just to go one final time, just to show you how it works from an internal document that you've got. So if you've gone in and you've created your own one, let's go to Animate Character Project, for example, and my mate Bongo. Same process. If you've gone in, you've created your task, you don't need to go all the way back into your classrooms, into your assignments, create an assignment, and then go in and share the link. You can literally just do it straight through your file here, go to assign, say what title it is, say what class you want it to be in, whether you want a gallery or not. You've got more options there, which will just take you back into that same screen, or you can go back into that little mini one, choose the class, click on create link, and it's automatically going to go in and add that project. Yeah, Molly, yeah, at the moment, there's no ability to go in and have other comments. So it's more of the teacher being able to go in and add that in. And again, so we can now go in and see here. If I go back into there, I've got 3 projects that have been assigned. Yeah, we did it 3 different ways. So hopefully that shows you how easy it is. I I did just very quickly want to touch on one more thing, and that's just because it's literally the most exciting thing in the world to me inside of Adobe Express. My background is as a graphic designer and graphic design educator, and ever since this tool was called Adobe Spark, I've said it would be even better if I could go in and have rulers and guides. And finally, after 5 years, 6 years really, the good folk at Adobe have delivered as promised. What you will notice if you go into your screen, and this is still populating across some jurisdictions, so if you don't quite see it yet, it will be very, very soon. At the top here, you've now got a little option that says File, and it sits next to your file name. And if you click on that file, you'll see there is something that says Rulers and Guides. Don't know why I just did that. It says Rulers and Guides. And if I click on Show Rulers or hit Shift-R on my keyboard, you will see I now get these little rulers that pop up on my X and Y axes. And I can now just click directly from that ruler and create a guide at an exact location, which is really, really handy when you want to go in and have a really gridded approach, or you want to go in and divide up your space really nicely and cleanly. You can even, under that file menu, see go in and lock the guides. You can show the rulers or turn them off. But you've also got some really cool new features. And again, like I said, the most exciting thing, yes, this is the most exciting thing. This is the add-on. You can show version history. So you can go in and see your previous versions, and it saves it every couple of minutes as you're going through. So whenever you're going in and making a change, you can go in and see that change. You can also go in and convert to a presentation. So in the past, if you didn't set your file up as a presentation and then you decided, I actually really want that to be a presentation, you had to go in and create a new presentation document, import all of your content as separate pages, and then go in and present. You can literally just go in and convert to presentation now. You can also go in and download. You can share it directly through here. You can go back to home. You can rename it. You can move it. So all within that little file menu, just sitting there. French kiss, my favorite thing that has happened inside of Adobe Express for a very long time. And that's sort of it for today's session. Like I said, we weren't going to take the full 45. If there's anything that you have question-wise, please feel free to go in and share here. Tim said, while students are working in real time as a teacher, I can identify students are having a challenge with project immediate feedback. Absolutely. And I think that's that really meaningful thing where it means that as an educator, you can really encourage your students and support them at that point that it's needed so that they're not sitting at the back of the class or at the side, being very quiet and timid and not engaging. And you can do it in a really non-direct way. You don't need to be going in and isolating them and, you know, making them embarrassed in front of fellow students or whatever it is. But it's a really, really lovely, simple to use tool that has been long overdue, some might say, in Australia, but it's here now. Only going to get better from here because more features are being added literally as we speak. We are now 2 weeks out from Adobe Max, which is our big annual conference every year where we go in and showcase all of the latest and greatest wonderful bits and pieces. So if you are an Adobe user outside of Express, so if you use other tools as well, all of the new rollouts, all of the new updates and features will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So please feel free to go in and take a look at that stuff.
Thank you for being part of this webinar from the ANZ Adobe Education Team. While you complete the feedback form via this QR code or link, note that this weekly webinar series is just one of a range of free events and resources managed by the ANZ Adobe Education Team. More information is available on the ANZ Adobe for Education site via adobeanzedu.com. And more specifically for K-12 teachers via adobe.ly/ANZ-K12-PL. Thanks again for being involved in this webinar. We look forward to seeing you at the next event. Keep being creative.